Okay, so hi everyone. I'm April Dipollina from the Connecticut Family Support Network, and I'm here with another CTFSN conversation. Today I'm here with Amanda Cullen, and she is studying to get her master's in art therapy. So I thought we'd start out with Amanda telling us what art therapy is. So welcome, Amanda, and let us know, what is art therapy?
Hi, April. So art therapy is basically using any form of art in a therapeutic way, basically just trying to have your feelings out in a tangible manner. It's really beneficial to a lot of people because art therapy can be done at home or in a client basis, but it's really just using any form of creative art in a therapeutic way.
And what's the difference from being like a painter or an artist and creating perhaps a painting to sell or being commissioned, or to using art as therapeutic? How does art become therapeutic?
So basically what happens is in an art class, or if you're like commissioned to create an art piece for someone, that's usually more focused on the external world, and you're usually asked to create something specific. Whereas using art therapeutically is more focused on using your feelings for inspiration for your art and using that to guide how you make your art and what your art becomes. So that's really the main difference between like an art class and using art therapeutically. Like there's been a lot of studies in the past that have shown that using art and being creative has helped, even regular people with managing stress and also people with disabilities of all ages. So it's very helpful to a lot of people.
And I was just thinking of that when you were talking about stress and people with disabilities. It may not be that you've experienced a huge trauma in your life, which I'm sure it's been used for that. But I'm thinking right now to the times that we're in with the COVID-19. At some level, it's causing stress for all of us. It may not be a huge trauma, but it's there. And so would doing art be therapeutic, just like if you were doing art on a daily basis, just to help with stress levels?
Yes, that would definitely help. That helps with releasing dopamine, which will make you happier. It helps putting your feelings into a different perspective. And it helps get those feelings that you might have bottled up out in front of you. So that way you can sort of move on with your day and have sort of less stress. So that's kind of where that comes in. So like a lot of people will use coloring books to manage stress. That's a little bit easier. You just have to color within the lines. Some people like to doodle. They'll take a pen and just start drawing. Any of these is really beneficial to using creativity to have your feelings tangible and able to work with and move on from.
Just when you said that that coloring can be therapeutic, I'm thinking, and I also know crafting. Crafting is a form of art, and so just the example of coloring. While you're doing that one activity, you're able to just calm all the other senses and just focus on that and kind of push everything else out of the way. And I know I come from a family of a lot of crafters, and that's exactly how they use their art, quilting and knitting. And it's just when they're doing that, they're focusing on that, and everything else kind of quiets. Is that part of the therapeutic process?
Yes, exactly. That's also like a part of it is, it doesn't have to be like painting or drawing. It can be crafting, like you said. It's just really something creative to focus on. It's almost, I don't want to compare it to meditation, but it's kind of like that, where if you focus on one thing that you're doing at a time, it just like alleviates the stress. So that's kind of how stress has a play in that.
And certainly that's one of the reasons we're having this conversation, is because we're in these stressful times. This is nothing that we've ever experienced in our lifetimes before. So there's a lot of the unknown, and then there's a lot of new challenges put before us. And then, of course, if you go into the world of people with special needs, there's all kinds of challenges that they are now met with as we have restrictions in that. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now. You're on your summer job, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I'm currently working full-time at Camp Harkness as a lifeguard. For those that don't know, Camp Harkness is a private beach for people with disabilities. All you have to do is apply for a pass, and your doctor has to sign it, and then you can come in for free. And it's run by DDS, which I believe is the Department of Developmental Services.
It is indeed.
I really love it there. I love how we have groups that come in. Usually we have the camps that will stay there all summer. Usually there's 3 camps, and they'll come down to the beach, and they'll also do art activities, and it's run just like a normal summer camp. But it's really nice that they have the same opportunity as other kids, but something that is also adaptable for them to do. And it's nice that they have this space for them, I think.
Yeah, and for people who don't know about Camp Harkness, Amanda is exactly right. It is for any disability, any age, and it's private in the fact that it's not a wide open beach and the general public can come on that. You have to have a pass and be a pass holder, and you can come on with your friends. It is, however, a state-run piece of property, but it is not run by the Department of Environmental Services like most of the state parks. It's run, as Amanda said, by DDS, which is the Department of Developmental Disabilities. So if you are a pass holder or a consumer of services from DDS, then you can automatically get a pass. Any other disability, you do have to have a sign off from a doctor. But the grounds are beautiful, and yes, there is the beach, and there's lifeguards in the season. However, we are just starting to open the camp up. They're just inching to phase 2. And there's a number of restrictions, as there are throughout the entire state of Connecticut. And we certainly want to make sure we observe those, because we know what can happen if we move forward too quick. But so you have to call the park and make reservations, and masks and distancing. And I will get the number for you after, because I don't have it at my fingertips, but you can certainly get it from the Connecticut Family Support Network website, or just Googling Camp Harkness DDS, State of Connecticut. All the information is there. So I partner with Camp Harkness to run programs for people of all ages with disabilities at Camp Harkness. And that's where Amanda and I hope, are going to get a chance to really interact. I have a play group we've been doing there with kids from birth to age 13. And we brought on board last year a music therapist. And this year we're so excited to have Amanda doing an internship so she can work in our program. So just tell us a little bit about some of the things you hope to be doing with the kids.
Okay, so I hope to be doing a lot of different activities. Some of them are going to be more art-based, like using crayons or markers, but some of them are also going to be like craft-based. Like I have my list in front of me, and one of them is, leaf print paintings, finger paintings, clay pinch pots. But then we also have activities like making a feather mask, turtle tissue paper turtle plates. So we have a lot of different activities written down that I hope to put into motion. I want to do a lot of like looser activities with painting. We might use shells or sea glass from the beach, I'm hoping. So that's what I have planned.
And
What I just have.
I want to jump in here a little bit because I'm a parent of a special needs kid, and although she's an adult, and I shouldn't be calling her a kid, she's in her 30s. But as a parent, and I listen to this list, you know, everyone has different level, and if I had just heard that level. Okay, so I'm thinking about that list, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my daughter, she's very physically involved. She probably couldn't do a lot of those things, but I've been to the camp and I know how we do this. There is a way for everyone to participate on some level. And, you know, whether it's hand over hand, someone helping her, or when we do the music, sometimes it's just listening to the vibration of the music. And so is that something you do within the art therapy, is make adaptations for whoever you're working with?
Yeah, most definitely. You have to take into account like definitely their age. If they're like younger kids, we might do something with like crayons. If they're like older adults, you might do something with clay or drawing. But you can also make adaptations, or you should make adaptations really for people who have disabilities, because a lot of times they can't completely do the same tasks. They have maybe less fine motor skills. And so
they experience it on their own level, even if they don't have the physical ability, correct?
yeah. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times you can make adjustments. Like I know before I mentioned the paintbrush, how you can put clay on the end for people with arthritis, so that could help with older people. And it also helps even with just developing motor skills. So like painting and drawing is helpful for that. And that would even be beneficial for children as well. So adjustments definitely can be made, and you know, we can do hand over hand, we can help them, they can even just experience it, or they can, you know, maybe help out a little bit. But I want them to feel like it's like a safe place where they can really express themselves, because that's what art therapy is all about. It's really just about them expressing themselves in ways that they're able to. And so we have to make it very adaptive to them, I think.
I know one thing we do, and I bet this is something that, well, when we get to start working together, the kids usually find what they love or what works for them. And then you get asked, can we do that again? Can we do that again? So, you know, they kind of lead you to what works for them also. And that's the philosophy of the whole play group in the camp. And I would think the art therapy too, is to be where the person's at, and broaden that and use that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like be aware of where they are and their ability to complete the task, and help them reach that goal. You know, whatever adaptation you might need to make to the materials, the location, any kind of stimulus, you really want them to be there and in the moment. And if you have to adapt for that, then you should. And I think that that's what Camp Harkness is definitely all about, is, you know, making adaptations so that way they have the same opportunities as anyone else. So we'll definitely take that into consideration.
Yeah, and as I said, usually the group leads us and tells us that I want to do this or I want to do that, and that's what it's about. But let me switch the subject here a little bit, because as I said, I'm a parent, and all of the people involved, a lot of the people involved in the network are parents, which makes us caregivers. Although my daughter, like I said, she's an adult, and she doesn't look to me to be her caregiver, but a lot have in the play group. Obviously the parents, the kids are still being cared for by their parents. And that leads to a whole nother level of stress that can be put on the caregiver. And again, coming into these times with the restrictions of COVID, it's challenging enough to need to do the extra things that have to be done to take care of someone who has challenges, but then to put on top of it the restrictions, the masks, possibly your home with your children where they would have been in school. People are trying to work from home. We're doing Zoom meetings. So we encourage self-care for the caregiver. It is not an easy thing to do necessarily. And I can say that as a parent, self-care is wonderful. Being able to practice it is a really hard thing, to carve out that time for yourself. But I love one thing you said, Amanda, was just the coloring. Maybe 30 minutes of coloring, even if it was before you went to bed or whatever. That would be considered therapeutic for a caregiver. Can you tell us a little bit about things that you could do for self-care with caregivers?
Sure, I'd love to. One of the things I like to recommend is mandalas. You can either make your own mandala or you can buy mandala coloring books. But mandalas are basically just like a geometric circle of different patterns. And it's supposed to be very meditating because you're only focused on the mandala itself and the design. I like those because they're quick. They're definitely fun, and you can build it as far out as you want to. It can look like anything you want, any color that you want. But it's also just therapeutic to just focus on that and not think about, your kid or what's going on with coronavirus. It's nice to have that special place, whether it's coloring or mandalas, to express yourself. And, you can do mandala coloring books, you can do regular coloring books, you can use just drawing paper and take a pen and just go to town with it. It's really up to you. But I like to set aside 30 minutes a day of just coloring. And even when I'm at work or something, if it's slow, I'll just doodle something on a shell. So it's nice to have little moments, little pockets of stress-free distraction of just letting it out on paper. So that's what I really recommend is the mandalas. And you can look more into it, but it's definitely a good idea to try that at home, because I think everyone can try it, especially if you're caregivers. So
well, this is what I hope happens. I hope we get the approval to open up the start holding the play group in the physical space of Camp Harkness, and using Amanda and all these wonderful ideas to really, just have a good, relaxing time with the kids. But if we can't, right now we're waiting for the official, yes, we can go ahead. If we can't, I'm going to see if we can get some, like a 30-minute activity that we can put up so that the parents can be doing this with their kids at home. And then possibly do the exact same thing for the parents as caregivers. And we'll put them up, and then hopefully you'll be able to look at them when you have time, or you can set aside a time and tell the kids, we're going to do some art today. And, it'll be simple things you can assemble from what you have at home. And we'll put them up, and we'll be at least doing those online until we can physically be at Camp Harkness and use Amanda's talents with the play group. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should tell you. Again, if you want to know more about Camp Harkness, just Google Camp Harkness DDSCT.gov. That'll come up. And Amanda, do you have anything that you want to add?
If you have any questions about art therapy, because there's a lot to it, feel free to email me at mandyrosecullen@gmail.com. I'll answer any questions you want. I'll give you art ideas to do at home, but definitely send me an email if you have questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. And if there's anything, Amanda's email or anything we referenced today, you can find it on the Connecticut Family Support Network website or on our Facebook. I can't wait to be at the beach with you, Amanda. Take
I know,
care.
I'm so excited to be with the kiddos.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.